Well, hello there. Today I'm going to draw Chapter 6 in the Parametric Modeling book, and I'm not going to bother with the step-by-step exercise that's at the beginning of every chapter. We'll just jump right into these. So I'm going to draw the V-slide plate first, and it's in inches. And so we get the right view, I'm going to go ahead and draw it on the front plane. Let's see, and it looks to be roughly 4 wide. I'm just going to ballpark draw the shape here. The only thing that I am going to be certain to do is to make sure that this line and this line are perpendicular. And I'm going to do the same here. I want this to be perpendicular to the other line. Other than that, it's going to look a little goofy probably. That's okay. I'll just make a coincident after. Alright, that's kind of a V. Close enough. Alright, so let's add in some fillets. And I'll worry about getting it all perfect looking here in a bit. And let's do another fillet. 0.625. You know what? I missed a fillet earlier for this. So just keep it. I'll set it to equal the last arc. Now let's try to make this look like something. It's going to be 2.75, 2.25, I'm going to make the midpoint of this line coincident to the origin point. Alright, let's see. Might be it. Let's see. So I'm going to make this equal this. I'm going to make this center point vertically aligned to the origin point. And then I believe we just need the 2.25 dimension on this side. Or I'm just going to do a horizontal constraint. I try to only use the dimensions that are given in the book. And then we'll extrude at 0.25. Go both ways, symmetrically. Alright, so that's that one. Next one we're going to do is the shaft support. Okay. So I was reading a note about that. It's going to be metric. And let's see here. We'll start with the top view and make sure you rotate that cube if it does that to you too. So we have a diameter of 80. And we have 2 circles. We're just going to draw some lines out here and make them tangent and trim. And don't worry if it jumps around, we'll work it out. Sometimes, things will jump. If you're having problems, you can just go ahead and set them to equal each other and dimension one of them. So since it's jumping, we'll go ahead and put in dimensions. And as you can see, our circles are still jumping, so we need to make them all align with the same center location horizontally. So that'll be our next step. Alright, and then we'll put in the 100 value. That's beautiful, isn't it? Alright, so it didn't like that. That's okay. So let's trim. Sometimes it'll blow up too much to go ahead and do something. It's all about order of operations. But no big deal. Make sure you get this little piece here. Okay, trim that and that. Unfortunately, we lost our 40 value. That's okay. Let's set this one equal that one since geometry is broken now. And now you can see it doesn't flail around too much. Let's put that 100 back in. And we'll go ahead and do half of this to say that it's centered. There you go. It's going to be 18 thick. And we will do a sketch on this plane and project some of these edges here. I'm going to slice graphics so we can see a little better. I'm going to snap to that midpoint. So let me see the dimension first. So we got 30 and 46. And it's a tangent for this line. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. It's kind of a placeholder. And extend. It's 67 to the ends of this. The circle needs to be vertically. Here's a good example of one of the quirks of Inventor. So if you notice, I'm clicking the vertical constraint, but when I hover over a point, it's showing a horizontal alignment option. So this is one of those times where you need to actually choose horizontal because it's split for whatever reason. But I'm going to vertically align the origin point here to that center point. And then I'm going to make these lines, the endpoints, coincident to the edge. I'm going to make sure this edge is projected. It seems like it's maybe not fully there. So I'm just going to make sure to not have to draw that extra line down there. Alright, and then we can say that this line equals this line. And then we should only need a height dimension. Let's see. Yep, good stuff. Alright. So we'll extrude this portion first, then we'll reuse the sketch. And it's going to be 18. And 40. Make sure to turn that sketch back off. Missing anything? Nope. Cool. Okay. So that's that one. Let's go ahead and jump on to the vent cover. And you know, you could probably guess by looking, this one seems to be pretty difficult. I'm only going to draw one of these and we'll pattern it, but if you really want good practice, I would advise trying to draw all four and seeing if you can. See if you can fully define everything. All right, we'll draw on the front, and it's going to be an ellipse 8 by 5. Now the way it works here is it does, you know, like a half value. So basically you're putting in like a radius. So it's going to be 4 if it lets you. It doesn't, so it's okay. We'll add dimensions in later. Okay, so it's going to be 4 by 2.5. For whatever reason, you know, the only way you can get an actual overall value, if you're interested, is to draw construction lines and dimension those, and you know, constrain the lines to the ellipse itself. But this is fine. Okay, so we're going to do a 6-sided polygon, and I'm just going to kind of constrain them together as I go. So I made that one horizontal. I'll make the tops collinear. I'm going to set these edges to equal each other, and then add in a 1-inch dimension. And we'll say that this center point is horizontally aligned to the center point of the origin. And it's 3 from here to here. And the same on this end. Could actually go ahead and say it equals that one, I guess, for the sake of convenience, but alright, we'll draw that circle in the middle. 1.5. Time for the fun. I'm just going to kind of randomly draw circles here, and then we'll just modify it from there. Try to get them kind of similar in size, like the distance between here and here being about the same as there and there. Okay, so when you look at this, you got your center mark, and you can tell that the arc seems to end at that center mark. And unfortunately, I don't have a pointer here, so I'll use the top of this, but it clearly ends there at the quadrants. So I can draw a line and then draw the rest of this portion afterwards. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. And I'll just trim all that out. I'm going to keep this stuff. Usually I would try to delete, you know, every single thing as I go, but let's just make them construction lines by choosing the option up here for construction. That way we don't lose any geometry as we're going. Okay, so we'll draw some vertical lines and some horizontal lines. That's not horizontal, but it's supposed to be. So we'll just make that perpendicular. I'm going to draw some circles. And I'll just make it tangent on both sides. Same here. Let's make these end at the same place. That one might have actually snapped to it. We'll see in a bit. Let's test that. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, let's go ahead and see what we have. R.75. That's fine. We'll just shift this back over. And as you can see, we need a tangent. Cool. Okay. And we need a tangent on the other side as well. Okay. So it's R.25. So from the center point to the end is going to be 0.25. So I'm just going to dimension between these arcs and say 0.25. And I'm going to do the same on this end and say 0.25. We're going to go ahead and slap in this dimension, which is 0.25 as well. And same here. Okay, so when I move everything, it should stay together, and so it appears it is. There's no reason to slap a radius in here because, you know, it's already defined by these two dimensions. So now we got 0.75 from here. That worked out conveniently, keeping that line. And here. There you go. Well, there's one piece of that vent cover. So, you know, technically I could just go ahead and extrude this and, you know, have the shape there, but I'm going to make sure to keep it selected there so I can reuse the feature that I'm going to make separately. So I'm going to turn the visibility of the sketch on and go ahead and cut out this guy through both ways. So yeah, the perk of doing this one separate is, you know, it's its own man. You know, I could suppress it. You know, it's got a lot of independence, but the perk of that, in this case, is we can pattern this feature without having to redraw it. Yep, okay, cool. Just making sure. And then I can actually pattern this mirror again. And, you know, like, it's typically not advisable, but in a part like this, it's a lot easier than drawing it again. And there it is. Yeah, it's not too bad, actually, when you get into it. So yeah, let's jump on over to the anchor base. Make sure we're still recording here real quick. Cool, cool. Okay. We'll draw this view first, and we'll draw it on the right side view in order to keep that same orientation of the part. Alright, so it's going to be pretty straightforward shape, I suppose. Just going to draw it from here, do this shape, and yeah, something like this. Alright, that looks about right. Alright. So, that base portion we can kind of ignore for now, but I am looking for the height. 1. Okay. And it's 5 for here. Let's see. Here's what we're missing. This center point. There's our problem again. Make sure you're conscious of that. We got to do horizontal, even though we're doing a vertical. This center point should be aligned to that bottom edge point. So it is going to be 1 wide. And we'll do a top view here. And project these existing edges. We'll project that one too for the heck of it. Alright, slice graphics. And I'm going to put the fillets in later with a feature, just to keep this sketch a little more basic. But that's up to you. You know, there's multiple ways to do one thing, so I'll let you decide how you want to draft. Oops. Alright, and that's going to be... Oh, 4 wide. There it is. And we will go ahead and say that from here to the center is half, to center that up. Draw circles. Set them to equal each other, to be vertically aligned. And add the same dimension that we're missing here. And I might be able to do a 2 here. That would be nice. Yeah, just going to choose that point. Okay, so we need fillets of R75, 0.75. Okay. And 1. Alright, I believe that's it. Let's make sure. Looks good to me. Okay. The tube spacer. And we will do this as the front view. Might as well. This one might be a little tricky. You know, I haven't actually drawn these before, so kind of just winging it here. I might goof on this one. It's not that it's hard, it's just there's a lot of ways to do this one. Alright, so let's start with the basics. Alright, and the diameter is given on the other view, which is not ideal. Yeah, it's kind of inconvenient because it's almost like, you know, what I'm trying to avoid is I can easily extrude this, you know, portion that way, but then I'm still going to have to do an extra feature to cut out this portion here, but that's what I'll do. It's fine. And trim this. Alright, so it's 2.75 to the center. And I'm guessing this isn't tangent. Yep. And that's why I don't advise drawing on there. It'll make it coincident, but it doesn't know to make it tangent. So we'll extrude that 2.75. I'm going to reuse the sketch. And it's going to be 2 wide. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the sketch visibility. It's kind of an eyesore. Okay. And unfortunately, it did not grab the edge, so I was trying to project there. I'm going to slice graphics and make this circle coincident to that edge. So, you know, I won't need to dimension this because it's understood that it's 2. 1 for the hole. We'll go ahead and cut this out. You know, sometimes it does that. It kills me. Like if you see it doesn't want to actually cut it. That's okay. We're just gonna. Oh, okay, that's fine. There used to be a between option, but it appears that it is no longer there. Let's see. I'm gonna try one more time. Ah, I see my issue right there. It's actually my fault. I don't know if you noticed, it's only grabbing this part, the top half. I'm gonna make this projected edge construction so that it realizes the entire hole is there. There we go. That's more like it. Alright, so we'll share this sketch by turning the visibility on and extruding. And it doesn't matter if these overlap because it's joining them. But it's going to be 3. Turn the sketch off. And there's our guy. Alright, last one. The pivot lock. And that's going to be inches as well. So what's it say here? The circular features in the design are all aligned to 2 centers at the base. I mean, you probably could have gotten that from this long line here, but that's okay. So let's go ahead and do a top view, rotate your cube if it rotated on you. And we'll draw that bottom piece first. And it's going to be about 2 diameter. So this is way too far out there. I'll go ahead and make it horizontally aligned. And I'll do the same over here. Set them to equal each other. Now in this one, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty confident we won't have to do tangent on both ends. Right, because, with the combination of constraints, these are already aligned, and this is already acknowledged as being horizontal. So saying this is tangent pretty much implies it's tangent here. Oh, got a little trim happy. And it's 2 from center to center. What else? What else? We've got to locate it in reference to the origin. We'll extrude down, that way we can use that same plane for the top portion here. Rotate the view. Okay, so we're going to try to reuse some of this. So I'm going to try to offset. Oh yeah, we got to project first. Going to offset this circle here. And one here. Well, let me get a good look at that. Okay, so I'm going to draw roughly what it looks like. And as you can see, it's a little not to scale. That's okay. Something like that. Okay, so tangent. It's R75. And we need a circle of 1 right here. We have a width of 1. We will go ahead and center that. This one's going to be 0.75. And 1.5 for this. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and confirm this is 2. Yep. Those are useless to mention because, obviously all these circles are concentric. So, yep, 1.5 for this. And then we'll just make this edge collinear to that one. Oh no. Because it appears that earlier I did not extend this edge far enough. So, take two. It's the little things, you know. And we need one more circle that is 0.5. Well, you know, it's kind of a bummer. We really don't need that 0.5 circle here. I wouldn't be able to use it. So we'll undo that. It'll have to be its own separate sketch. But this is an easy one. I'm not even going to rotate the view for this one. Just going to project that center point, make it 0.5, and extrude. 0.25 up. Now it's up for debate whether this hole is here or not, completely through. I'm actually going to go ahead and add it in because I believe that it should be all the way through. You know what? I'm not even going to draw a new sketch for it though. Let me delete that. I'm going to turn sketch visibility on again for the sketch and extrude cut this both ways, and now we have a hole. But that one, like I said, it is more for debate, but when you're thinking about its concept, it probably is through all. It's just for some reason they didn't, you know, well actually that's why. You can tell right there it doesn't show because you just wouldn't see an edge. So yeah, make sure there's a hole through it. Alright, well, that's it for this one. Take care, everybody.